Being tested, being a human guinea pig, that's the way I made my money.
Russell Green will never forget the first time he walked through the gates of Philadelphia's Holmesburg prison.
About 22 years old, dumb, naive to a lot of things.
Sentenced for shoplifting, he quickly learned what it would take to survive in the city's toughest lockup.
Living conditions was bad, and you needed money in Holmesburg to make it. If you didn't have no money in Holmesburg, you was in trouble.
And at Holmesburg, there was money to be had.
How did you make your money in here?
Testing.
Testing.
Being tested, being a human guinea pig, that's the way I made my money.
I guess everybody know why we're here, right?
Russell is just one of hundreds of former inmates who, for pay, had agreed to participate in medical tests while behind bars.
You know what used mean? I was used.
Tests they now believe went too far.
They cut my back, cut some pieces out, layers of skin.
They had a test back then where they were burning guys with radiation.
I was on the LSD test.
With funding from major pharmaceutical companies, among others, Holmesburg had become a testing ground for experimental medical products and procedures.
I had took the toothpaste test in the mid-'60s at a very early age. I lost all of my teeth by the time I was 23 years old.
This is where the experiments were generally performed.
The prison eventually closed, and what went on there was nearly forgotten. But Alan Hornblum, a Temple University professor who worked at the prison in the early 70s, never forgot what he saw.
They had bandages on them, on their arms and their backs and their chests. Right away, it gave me a chill.
He has chronicled the wide-ranging series of prison experiments in his book, Acres of Skin.
Anything as innocuous as hair dyes, skin creams were tested here, as well as some very dangerous substances such as dioxin, radioactive isotopes, chemical warfare agents.
The experiments at Holmesburg Prison began in the early 1950s under the supervision of Dr. Albert Kligman, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Kligman saw Holmesburg as a natural laboratory to advance his dermatological research, a controlled environment with the ideal test subjects.
He didn't see people, he didn't see prisoners. In his own words, he saw acres of skin.
Dr. Kligman is now a professor emeritus at the University of Pennsylvania. He declined our request for an interview, but issued this statement, saying his research was in keeping with this nation's standard protocol for conducting scientific investigations at that time. To the best of my knowledge, he says, no long-term harm was done to any of the volunteers.
I had this lump on my back from where I put the patch at.
When I walked out of Holmesburg, this was on my leg.
But the men on the receiving end of the experiments claim harm was done.
I couldn't take it off, and it just burned all through the night.
Look at my legs. Look at both legs. Look at my arms.
Most of the records from the prison studies were destroyed, frustrating the inmates' attempts to bring a lawsuit against the university.
Why were these records destroyed? There must have been a lie somewhere.
So they'll bring their case with the only evidence they have.
It happened. That's all. That should be
We're living proof that
it happened.
The evidence written on their backs. In Philadelphia,